What's up guys, it's James from Cop Logic. Welcome back to the channel, and we've got some more news on the Lavia situation as well as the Andre situation that blew up last night. Let's start with Lavia. Yesterday I put out a short explaining that Southampton had rejected Liverpool's second bid for Romeo Lavia, which was followed up by Paul Joyce saying that Liverpool will walk away from the Lavia deal if Southampton insist on 50 million, with Andre considered the secondary target from Fluminense at around 20 million, so a much cheaper deal for Liverpool. Since then, however, reports from Brazil suggest that Fluminense would be unwilling to sell Andre until the end of their season. So they're currently in the middle of their season right now. In fact, their transfer window closed today. So if they were to sell Andre to Liverpool at this stage, they wouldn't be able to replace him, which explains their reluctance to sell the player. DM Lynch is quoted as saying that they have told Liverpool they are reluctant to sell until next year. He does, however, have a release clause in his contract, so it's possible for Liverpool to force the move if they really wanted to, but the stance seems pretty clear from the Brazilian side. It's either pay the release clause or wait it out until December, which is when their season ends. So we would be able to put in an official bid in December and potentially bring the player in January. With a release clause of 34 million but a market price of 20 million, I personally would expect Liverpool to wait on this one. If he is a target that they really want, I can't see them paying 34 million when they could pay 20 million in December. We know FSG like to save where they can. We've seen that with the Lavia deal, only 5 million off the price Southampton want, but apparently FSG are thinking about walking away. So I can't see them paying 34 million for Andre when they can pay 20 million in December. So the season ends in December. We could bring him in January, which would be an ideal scenario provided we brought in a 6 now, because we need someone right now. That's the thing, right? And I think that's where we come back around to the Lavia deal. Fabrizio Romano reported after the initial rejection from Southampton that talks still continue between Liverpool and Southampton for Romeo Lavia. So I don't think that is completely over yet. I'm not sure whether Andre was a smokescreen. Obviously, we can't bring him in right now by the looks of it unless we were to pay the release clause. That would suggest maybe it is a smokescreen, or perhaps Liverpool just didn't really realize at the time how hard of a deal it would be to pull off. This was backed up by David Lynch suggesting that Lavia is still the priority for Liverpool. However, it does still look like Liverpool are unwilling to pay the 50 million and Southampton are unwilling to budge from that 50 million asking price. If a deal could be reached for Lavia and we brought him in now and then we brought Andre in January, I think that's an ideal situation. Let me know in the comments if you'd be happy with that. I actually think that'd probably be pretty decent. You know, we might struggle with rotation until January, but if you can get in 2 players Jurgen Klopp wants by January, that's not so bad. And obviously, but that is providing one of them comes in right now. It may also allow us to go and look for a centre-back in this window, but we'll get onto that in a second. There has also been an unconfirmed report today that Liverpool have bid 25 million for Gabri Veiga with a view to loan him back to Celta Vigo. So again, this one kind of doesn't make sense to me, because obviously this could be more of a long-term thing for Jurgen Klopp. Again, he can't play defensive mid, so that's probably why we're looking at him. However, if the plan is to loan him immediately back to Celta Vigo, then he's going to be no use to us at the start of the season. So we definitely need a 6 right now. And if our options are only Andre and Gabri Veiga, then Romeo Lavia is the only one that makes sense, because he's the only one that we could actually bring in and start in this team right now. And I have to say, I do feel like FSG have even left that too late, because if we were to get Romeo Lavia in and over the line now, the likelihood of him playing any preseason games, we've only got 1 left, are slim to none. And that certainly means we wouldn't see him start against Chelsea. You know what Jurgen Klopp is like with new signings. He likes to bed them in. So who knows how long it could be until we saw a player like Romeo Lavia actually get his first start for Liverpool. The reality we're facing now is that Liverpool will go into next season with Curtis Jones as their starting DM, which is a little concerning. And speaking of concerns, I might as well finish up on my thoughts on the game today against Bayern Munich. I think it's very clear from today's game that the defensive frailties Liverpool had last season absolutely still exist, and that's to be expected. Liverpool have done absolutely nothing in this market to rectify that. Obviously, what we have done is bring in McAllister and Szoboszlai, which has gone some way into fixing that break in communication between the midfield and the forwards. That's fine, but we had a lot of defensive frailties last season and they absolutely still exist. We've now got no DM. In fact, what we have done is lost 2 DM, so if anything, we're more exposed than we've ever been. I think the hole behind Trent when he moves up into midfield was exposed massively by Gabri, so that's still a huge problem. Matip was too slow, he was too switched off to deal with it. I think if we don't have Konate playing, that area gets exposed time and time again. So Matip, I don't think he's good enough to play that system, which is why we need another centre-back in. I'm still unconvinced that Andy Robertson can excel in that system as well when he's essentially becomes part of a back 3. And on Joe Gomez, I actually thought he played alright as a right back. If Joe Gomez's role was to become the rotation right back, I personally would be fine with that, but obviously that would mean we have to sign a centre-back. We definitely need a centre-back because Matip was not up to scratch, and again, I do worry a little bit about Robbo's role when it goes to that back three. Certainly, if we can't start Virgil and Konate, we're going to run into issues, and that is only going to be exacerbated by the fact that we don't have a natural 6 on the team. Yes, we've got Bajcetic, but he's only young. It feels like at the moment what we're looking at is going to be a rotation between Curtis Jones and Bajcetic in that 6, unless we bring someone in. I think the answer remains clear. Liverpool have to go out and get Romeo Lavia at this stage. If it takes 50 million to do it, I think they've got to get it done. They've left it too late. Time is now against us, and FSG need to pull their fingers out. Let me know if you agree with me down in the comments. Make sure to like the video if you want to get Romeo Lavia through the door, and subscribe, because 90% of you guys that watch this channel are not subscribed, and if you do subscribe, you're going to be able to stay on top with all of the news throughout this transfer window. That includes Andre, that includes Romeo Lavia, and that now includes Gabri Veiga. We'll keep you guys up to date once we get some more confirmation about that, whether or not it was legitimate. And on that note, we will see you in the next video. Peace.